Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we are back with the following list of topics to discuss. So let's start. The first topic says about the categorization of the denotified nomadic and the semi-nomadic tribes. So recently, why it is in news? Because the Parliamentary Panel on Social Justice and Empowerment has asked the government to expedite the categorization of the denotified nomadic and the semi-nomadic tribes under either SC, ST, or OBC. Okay, so who are these denotified nomadic and semi nomadic tribes? So these are communities that are most vulnerable and deprived. So the denotified tribes are the communities that were notified as being born criminals during the British regime under a series of laws starting with the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871. So these acts were repealed by the independent Indian government in 1952 and these communities were denotified. A few of these communities who were listed as denotified were also nomadic. So nomadic and the semi-nomadic communities are defined as those who move from one place to another rather than living in one place all the time. So historically, we have seen that nomadic tribes and denotified tribes never had access to private land or home ownership. So while most of the denotified tribes are spread across the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes, some DNTs are not covered under any of these categories. So, therefore, today we could see that many commissions and committees constituted since independence have referred to the problems of these communities. Okay, so today there are various challenges who are faced by these nomadic tribes, such as the lack of basic infrastructure, bad treatment by local administration, lack of social security cover, and also the caste categorization is not very clear. So, what are the related developmental efforts regarding this tribes? So, this Dr. Ambedkar pre-metric and the post-metric scholarship for the DNTs have recently helped spreading education among these people. Also, the Nanaji Deshmukh scheme of construction of hostel for DNT boys and girls is also one of the scheme to cover these people pursuing higher education in some of the state governmental, union governmental, or as well central universities. Also, we could see that under the scheme of economic empowerment, rupees 200 crores to be spent for over 5 years beginning from 2021 and 22. So, therefore, today the government is directly going ahead with the establishment of the Societies Registration Act, and through this, the DWBDNC will be constructed, that is, the Development and Welfare Board for Denotified, Nomadic, and the Semi Nomadic communities has been tasked with the implementation of schemes basically going in for the empowerment of these people. तो आज यहाँ पे हम लोग जानते हैं कि स्टेट वाइज अगर डीनोटिफाइड कम्युनिटी देखें तो कर्नाटका में सबसे हाईएस्ट है और नोमैडिक कम्युनिटीज में भी कर्नाटका टॉप में है, उसके बाद फॉलो करता है तमिलनाडु. So therefore today we could see that we have got many number of these tribes basically all over this country. Okay, also through this scheme, which is that is the seed, that is the scheme for economic empowerment of the DNT schemes, we are today trying to make these DNT tribes as well as these nomadic tribes living in all this region of this country basically having some of the common facilities of life. Okay, तो इसी के बेसिस पे ये न्यूज में थे. नेक्स्ट आते हैं NGO's depiction of vulnerable children's. So recently what I have seen that the NCPCR, that is the National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights, wants the NGOs about the depiction of vulnerable children for fundraising. And this practice of civil society organizations using representative visuals of fundraising activities concerning development issues such as malnutrition now faces new scrutiny under NCPCR. So, what is this NCPCR? It's a statutory body set up under the Commission of Protection of Child Rights Act 2005 and works directly under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Okay, so what is the mandate of this one? So, the Commission mandates to ensure laws, policies, programs, and administrative mechanisms uh, that align with the child rights perspective as enshrined in the Constitution of India and also with respective to the UN. ओके, तो आज हम लोग जानते हैं कि लाइक थ्रू दिस एनसीपीसीआर यहाँ पे फंड रेजिंग के लिए जो वार्न किया गया है एनजीओस को कि आप यहाँ पे चाइल्ड्स को यूज मच कीजिए ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ गोइंग इन फॉर fundraising, and therefore letter asks NGOs to refrain from such depiction as it amounted to a violation of the Juvenile Justice Act of 2015. ओके, तो रिसेंटली सिंस यहाँ पे बहुत सारे एनजीओज ने द कैंपेन दैट इज द रनिंग इन फॉर द सेव द चिल्ड्रन दैट वे शॉक दैट देयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डिड नॉट नो द लेटेस्ट ऑफ द वेलबींग एंड वेयर अबाउट्स ऑफ द चाइल्ड फीचर्ड इन द कैंपेन। तो जो इनका फोटोज लगाया गया था चाइल्ड का, ठीक है, वो फोटोज कहाँ पे है, कौन है, क्या है, उसका डिटेल्स यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली शेयर नहीं किया गया। ओके, सो यहाँ पे बहुत सारे एनजीओज के ऊपर ये एनसीपीसीआर ने इल्जाम लगाया कि यहाँ पे आप लोग ने विगरसली इस एड्स को परस्यू किए, लेकिन यहाँ पे कोई भी चाइल्ड को आपको दिखाना नहीं चाहिए था हु इज फेसिंग सच नंबर ऑफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, बिकॉज ये वल्नरेबिलिटी दिखाते हैं जो कि अगेंस्ट चाइल्ड राइट्स है। तो इसी के लिए यहाँ पे एनसीपीसीआर ने वार्न किया है, तो उसी के लिए ये न्यूज में थे। ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं। मैंडेट डिजिटल अटेंडेंस फॉर एमजी नरेगा। तो वी कुड सी दैट यहाँ पे जनवरी 1 से जितने भी लोग एमजी नरेगा के अंदर काम करते हैं तो उनको डिजिटली रिकॉर्ड किया जाएगा। Okay, so this directive comes even as many complaints and loopholes pointed out earlier by users of the pilot app-based project have not been plugged yet. Okay, so recently that's the news that is basically with this universal MG Narega digital capture. So we can see that this MG Narega is directly working today with the National Mobile Monitoring System, which was initiated to capture attendance through the mobile system at work sites with more than 20 workers. So this app can record the attendance even if there is no internet connectivity, and it will get uploaded whenever they reach a place which has necessary signal strength. So the new system has resulted in the delay of wage payment to the workers. And critics say that the union government has implemented these changes unilaterally without studying the ground reality. So the mobile app wants MG Narega workers to upload 2 photos daily. And many women from poor households do not have access to smartphones. And therefore, this app has been completely designed in English and there is no technical available to redress the problems. So therefore, according to the officials, this step will promote transparency and accountability, reducing the financial or the mismanagement or curbing even the corruption and making timely payment of these wages. तो इसी के लिए डिजिटली हम लोग यहाँ पे लेके आ रहे हैं so that we can directly make the MG Narega a grand success amongst the people who wants some number of works successively greater. ओके, तो इसी के लिए यहाँ पे डिजिटली अभी अटेंडेंस लेने का बात चल रहा है, तो जनवरी 1 से ये पूरा लागू हो जाएंगे। ठीक है, चलो नेक्स्ट पे आते हैं यूएस विंटर स्टॉर्म। तो हम लोग जानते हैं रिसेंटली अबाउट द बोम साइक्लोन। ओके, सो यहाँ पे यूएस में एक बहुत बड़ी यहाँ पे नेचुरल कैलामिटीज हो रहे हैं और क्लाइमेट चेंज के कारण ये बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्ट कर रहे हैं। तो therefore today we know about US severely affected by bomb cyclone that has stressed US and it has also stressed the region of Canada with extreme climate and has trapped the residents inside their houses with snow and power outages. And during the Christmas season, the bomb cyclone occurred due to a low temperature of minus 40 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, so what is this bomb cyclone? See, it is created when the air of different masses, where the cold or dry comes together and the warm air rises and makes a cloud system which lowers the air pressure. And this cloud system forms storms and circulates counterclockwise in the low pressure area. And a bomb cyclone is a mid latitude storm in which the central pressure drops fast at 1 millibar per hour for 24 hours. So what are the effects of this bomb cyclone? So we could see that during the bomb cyclone, within a few hours, the temperature may drop by more than 11 degrees Celsius. And the temperature could draw to a certain low point, which can be dangerous and life-threatening enough to frostbite in minutes. So therefore, today, approximately around 10,000 number of flights were directly delayed and 3,500 and 4,000 number of things were directly cancelled. Highways are closed, and therefore today we could see that severity is directly killing many inside this respective area of US as well as Canada. ठीक है, और क्लाइमेट चेंज के कारण ये बहुत ज्यादा विगरस हो रहा है जस्ट बिकॉज वी कुड सी दैट ये जितने भी बर्फ वाला जगह है, ये जो आर्कटिक वाला जगह है, बिकॉज ऑफ द आर्कटिक धीरे धीरे गर्मी होते जा रहे हैं, तो बाकी जगह जो ऑलरेडी गर्मी है दैट इज बेसिकली द इक्वेटर एज वेल एज मिड लैटिट्यूड एरिया. So because of the change in the temperature, we could see that such number of bomb cyclones today is going very rapid. ओके तो इसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे न्यूज में है यूएस विंटर स्टॉर्म व्हिच इज नोन एज द बॉम्ब साइक्लोन। ओके देन लास्टली यहाँ पे आते हैं वार्षिक प्रोग्राम के बारे में। तो वार्षिक प्रोग्राम ये किसके लिए न्यूज में है? सो recently we could see that in that this article explains about the issue of the development of aircraft carriers by the Indian Navy. So in terms of size, aircraft carriers can be classified as light, medium and super carriers. So light carriers can carry up to 25 aircraft, medium size can carry up to 30 to 50 aircraft, while the super carriers carry over 90 aircraft. Okay? So in terms of the role, they can be categorized as fleet, escort, air defense, amphibious assault, and anti-submarine warfare carriers. And in terms of methodology used to launch and recover aircraft, they can be categorized as the catobar, which is catapult assisted takeoff but arrested recovery, stobar, that is short takeoff but arrested recovery, and vstall, that is vertical or short takeoff and landing. So, what are some facts about aircraft carriers in India? See, India's first aircraft carrier, that is the INS Vikrant, was a light carrier designed for fleet air defense, and it could carry between 21 to 23 number of aircrafts. In its replacement, INS Virat was a light fleet air defense carrier, which is having an air wing of around 26 to 30 aircraft and helicopters. The INS Vikramaditya is a 45,000 tons medium-sized aircraft carrier capable of both fleet air defense and land attack. So it can carry up to 30 aircraft and helicopters. So even today, the Indian aircraft carrier 1 is almost similar in size, classification, role and capability to around INS Vikramaditya. So what is the near-term plan for the Indian Navy? So this Indian Navy has planned that this Indian aircraft carrier has demonstrated India's capability to design and build the largest and the most complex of the warships. And few countries have this capability. So the planning of this IAC-1 began in the mid-1980s and the ship was commissioned in September 2022. And this time period can be shortened in the next carrier in a repeat order. So the first four carriers had a smaller and relatively less capable air wings as compared to other advanced navies. So Indian Navy envisaged a 50,000 tons, 65,000 tons of aircraft carrier in the near future. Okay, so therefore today we could see that in long term, India should not avoid the Chinese capability which is growing further. So Chinese first two aircraft carriers displacement rate is over 65,000 tons. आज हम लोग का 45,000, 50,000 tons है. So its third indigenously built carrier, which is displacement rate of having 85,000 tons. तो आज हम लोग 60-65,000 तक नहीं पहुंच पा रहे और वो लोग 80-85,000 तक पहुंच गए हैं. एंड इट हैज अ पॉसिबल एयर विंग ऑफ अराउंड 60 ऑड एयरक्राफ्ट्स जहां पे हम लोग 30-35 कैरी कर रहे हैं. हम लोग से डबल है. So China has future plans for a 7-ship carrier force, which includes ambitions to build nuclear power submarines and overcarrying displacement rate of around 1 lakh tons. तो इसी के बेसिस पे यहाँ पे बोला गया है कि हम लोग को सिविल डिजाइन और थोड़ा एक्सटेंसिव कैपेबिलिटी के साथ, एक्सपर्टाइज के साथ, थोड़ा बहुत अच्छे से इन्वेस्टमेंट लेके with good infrastructure and design, we could similarly make the Indian aircraft carrier just as comparison to China in the coming times, and that too in a very fast and forward method. तो ये recently A.K. Chawla, who is a retired vice admiral, okay, who served as also a flag officer and commanding in chief of the Southern Naval Command, इनके बारे में ये डिस्कशन किया गया है कि इंडिया को कितने रैपिडली अपने इंडियन एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर्स को बिल्डअप करना चाहिए. ठीक है. So today we have got 2 active aircraft carriers. Okay, so in that way we could need and the third aircraft carrier very soon, and then we have to think about for any other aircraft carriers which is having a displacement rate of more as well as equivalent with respective to the Chinese counterpart. तो उसी के बेसिस पे ये डिस्कशन थे. Okay, so that's all for today. We have got this 5 number of MCQs. Please do attempt these MCQs and do join our Telegram as well as WhatsApp channel for further updates. So that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.